Hello. We're going to start working on the In the Spotlights in Chapter 3. This will be the first one. Bring it over here for you guys so you can go along with me. This one's going to be using the if statement. Catherine teaches a science class and her students are required to take 3 tests. She wants to write a program that her students can use to calculate their average test score. She also wants the program to congratulate the student enthusiastically if the average is greater than 95. So here's the algorithm. I'm going to get the first test score, second test score, third test score, calculate the average, display the average, and then check to see if the average is greater than 95. We want to congratulate the user. So let's go ahead and start working on the program. And I'm going to go ahead and start up Python here. And then start a new file. So we're gonna set up a constant on here, calling it high score, and it's going to be equal to 95. That way, if we want to change the high score, let's say the students are excelling and we want to make the high score 97 instead of 95, just go in here and change the 5 to a 7. If the students aren't doing as well and we want to give them some encouragement, we want to lower it down to 90, we could do that also in the one place. We need the test scores. So test 1 is going to be equal to int and the score for test 1. Oh, forgot my quote mark over here. Put that on there. Okay, then again, I'm going to copy and paste because you saw how many mistakes I made in typing that in. Okay, so it's going to be test 2. Change this one over here to a 2. And then test 3 and change this over here to a 3. So few changes I had to do to get that to work. So when I do the average now, it's going to be equal to the quantity of test 1 plus test 2 plus test 3 divided by 3. I'm going to do 3.0. I think the book that only does 3, which would not give us an accurate average. Okay. And I may have typed it in wrong on my notes. So if the book has it as 3.0, then that's what it's supposed to be on there. Okay, so we're going to print this. And this time we're going to use an F formatting on this. So the average score is, and then in curly braces, AVERAGE, end curly brace, dot, end quote, end parentheses. Okay. Then we want to put on our if statement. If average is greater than, now this says greater than or equal on the code, but if you remember, you go back and look at what it said, and let me double check it. It says, want the program to student enthusiastically if the average is greater than 95. Now, I could have mistyped that in there also, so again, you need to check the book on that, but I'm going to do it the way that my code has it. And then we can adjust it if we go back and look. That's part of the idea is once you look at the what you have as notes or whatever when you're talking to a client, you go and do the stuff and you come up and you say, oh, wait a minute, this is in 2 different places here. Which one was it supposed to be? So you go back to the client and ask them. So if average is greater than or equal to high score, colon, then what we want to do is we want to print an exclamation point in there. Then we're going to do 2 lines, print Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this saved. And I'm going to save this as, second here, I'll double check because I got my name that I'm saving this stuff under. Test average. .py. Navigate to where I want to save it. New folder in here because this is chapter 3. Open that up and then save it in there. Okay. So I'm going to use the values that it has in the books for the when it ran it. So the first time we're going to run it here, we're going to have 82, 76, and 91. So 82, 76, 91, and the average score is 83.0. Okay, so they did not make it up to the high score that they were wanting. So I'm going to do this again. And this time the scores I'm going to use are going to be 93, 99, and 96. 93, 99, 96, and we get an average of 96, which then gives us the message, congratulations, let the S off. That is a great average. Okay, so I can go back in here and change that congratulations there. And I'm going to show you something else here. I'm going to take off these parentheses on here just to show you what happens. Actually, I'm just going to take one off. I'm going to run this. And I'll get an error message. This is a syntax error, meaning that it had an opening parentheses and did not have a closing parentheses. So I'll put that back in here. And the other type of error I want to show you is I'm going to leave, say, for example, let's say we forgot or mistyped it and we put in a 0 here. This is a different type of error. Okay. It's going to let me run it. I'm going to put in the test scores. I'm going to do 98, 78, 64. And it's going to come up and crash. And then this is, and you probably already seen this before on there. And I probably should have done this in an earlier video, but I wanted to show you now. This is an error message that you get from Python. It's called a traceback. And at the bottom is where it gives you the error message, and then it traces back up through the program. So the error message is division by 0, because you can't divide by 0. It gives you the line of where it was, where it happened, and then it tells you in this part up in here where it was located. So it was in the test average PY on there, line 7. So we can go back into the code. We can count down. There's line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's line 7. There's where the error was there. So I can put that back in there, the 3.0 on there. So just to let you know what those look like, and you need to go through, put some errors in your program and run it and see what happens on there, and see if you can figure out from the traceback where it's located so you can correct it. Sometimes these errors don't come up. When it says line 7, it may not be line 7. For example, I have test 1 here. Let's say if I do T-E or T-A-S-T, I misspell it. Okay, so now I'm going to run this one. Okay. Put in 98, 56, 87. Now it crashes again, traceback error again, but this time the error here is test 1 is not defined. Okay. Now, the newer versions of Python give you examples of, did you mean task 1? Okay. So this says that the error is on, let's see, where is it? Line 7. Okay. So line 7 was this calculating out the average here. When we look at that, we say, well, test 1 is fine. What's the problem? Well, the problem is up here because we misspelled it up here. So that's why sometimes you have to look and determine where the error is rather than just looking at the traceback and seeing, oh, it's on line 7. You know, that's where it flagged the error because it worked with the TAST1 up here. It didn't work because we didn't have test 1 a value stored in it. So Okay, let me know if you have any questions over any of this, and I will stop now and then we'll go on with the next video later. Bye.